Meg became this scapegoat for the palace, and so they would feed stories on her, whether they were true or not, to avoid other less favorable stories being printed.
You would just see it play out. Like a story about someone in the family would pop up for a minute, and they go, we gotta make that go away. But there's real estate on a website homepage. There is real estate there on a newspaper front cover, and something has to be filled in there about someone royal.
Now, as I've said, I'm not an Anglophile. I'm not a royal watcher. I don't get it. Got plenty of sympathy and empathy for all of them. Anybody who's got any pain in their life or struggle, whether it's Markle or Harry or anybody, I feel badly for them. I don't want to see people have a hard time, but I've just never been into it. And man, am I the minority, because Harry and Meghan's Netflix documentary is the platform's highest rated, most watched documentary ever. So let's discuss why with Victoria Arbiter. And you're the perfect guest, not just because you understand the context, but you'll be so polite to me about my ignorance, which I like. Now, let's just start with even that clip. You see that clip? Oh, that's big, what just happened there. Why?
That clip is very bold, Chris, because the suggestion is that each independent royal household, so this was prior to the Queen's death, so there was Buckingham Palace, Kensington Palace, which oversees William and Kate, and then Clarence House, which prior to the King's accession was the King and Camilla. So this clip is suggesting that each of those households is planting negative stories about their particular principles in order to save the skin of another principle. And that just is bizarre to me. There's certainly no question that the houses are each briefing in terms of trying to get their royal on the front page related to a charitable endeavour, their good work, something positive that's happening. But overall, the major goal is to protect the institution of monarchy. So why would you self-sabotage the monarchy, which everybody is really looking out for, by planting negative stories about another member? That simply doesn't make sense. And I think as well, we do have to point out that this was very much a one-sided story here. We heard Harry and Meghan's account of their life within the royal fold. But to suggest that the British press was not being critical about other members of the family simply isn't true. Prince Andrew was on the front page for weeks following that disastrous interview he did for Newsnight, and rightly so. What he did was wrong. So I suspect that somewhere in here there's a nugget of truth of the point they're trying to get across, but without an objective inquisitor asking more questions, we're left hanging.
Are you surprised by the popularity of this in America? I guess everywhere else. I mean, Dusty will tell me in the control room, but I think it was like 80 million streams or something like that. I don't know if that's just domestic. I would have to think it's international. But are you surprised?
No, not at all.
Really?
It was certainly after the Oprah interview, which happened in March 2021, there were a lot of remaining questions. Who is the alleged royal racist? Which royal really made another royal cry? Was there really a row over a tiara? Now, I suspect these are questions that have not kept you up at night, but they are questions that didn't have answers. None of those are addressed here, but I think people were tuning in that love Harry and Meghan. Others were tuning in because they were thinking, are they going to reveal the alleged royal racist? Disclaimer, they don't. But then other people are hate watching. They're fascinating watching. So no, I'm not surprised by these numbers at all. The problem is, next week, everybody moves on. There's the latest series on Netflix, but a lot of the claims that were made here will have been incredibly hurtful to the members of the family that they were about. And this family is then going to be healing for a while.
Harry's suggestion that his father leaked things to the media about them. Harry's suggestion that the press may be responsible for his wife's miscarriage.
Yeah. This particular 3 episodes went a lot more deep, a lot more personal, and some of it was very raw and quite painful to watch. I don't doubt for one second that Harry and Meghan had a very difficult time, and you can't help but have sympathy for them watching this. Here, Harry blamed the media, or one of Britain's national newspapers in particular, for his wife's miscarriage. It was incredibly painful to see. Now, I'm not a doctor. I don't know about the relationship between stress and miscarriage, but Harry certainly felt very strongly about the role the media played in his wife's suffering.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.